How's it going today? It's Spanky and I'm here with Wild Wednesdays. And this movie is called Lost Bullet 2. And let me tell you, this is a good movie. This one's better than the first one in terms of like the action, the storyline, the plot. I mean, it's just better than the first one. Apart from the acting though, and how the characters portray the dialogue. I thought they could have been a bit better. So this isn't a perfect movie, but I'm going to give a few examples here because this movie is just brilliant. It's obviously, Lino is in it, and obviously some of the same characters in the first one. And the movie, it's this action scene to this movie is brilliant. Like the scene where he's at Stella's house. No, not well. He has to go to Stella's place because three guys come in and start wants to kidnap her or something. And they just say they're rescues or something. I don't know what that necessarily means. And he goes and he fights them all, beats them up. I think he kills them. I think maybe he injures one of them. I'm not sure. But that fight scene was good. And then he's at a police station after he finds Marco, because he's been told that Marco is like in a hideout by someone called Alexandra Reyes or something like that. And she kind of tells him, locations and sort of makes up a lie about something, and she tells him where to go. And he then sees Marco, hits him with a shovel, and he's wearing some sort of monitor. So they're monitoring him, the police, for a reason or something like that. Maybe because of information about a rescue or something. And he can help, and if he does say anything, that he'll probably likely get killed by rescues men. So that's probably what it is. And then when he goes in the police station, obviously there's questions, and Lino finds out about why Marco is in, I would say, not custody, was it, witness protection or something like that. That's what he's in. And then somebody just throws in a grenade in, and it's not Lino, it's somebody. It's I don't know who it was that threw that grenade in, or unless he definitely threw it. I don't know who threw it. And then people start coming and start attacking them, and Lino just comes and attacks everybody. He then takes Marco, and then they have a big fight. He has a fight with more than 10 officers or something at once, and he fights other people that are coming. Somebody got people in a mask. I don't know what they're. I don't know if they're like some military people. Attacks them, and then he eventually puts Marco in the car with the boot, and then he drives off. And let me tell you, the car scene or scenes in this movie are brilliant. Better than the first one. They only had one part of the movie in the first one where there was car scenes. And the fighting as well was pretty quick, a bit more quick and intense. It really got my adrenaline going a bit. It really made me hooked. And then, but then he sort of gets in the car. I mean, there's just so much to go by in this movie. It's just brilliant work of art with it. The action scenes, the cars as well. And let me tell you, the car parts, I mean, it's quicker as well. The first one was it's a bit too short. This one lasts longer. He goes on the highway and there's like checkpoints. He comes across someone called Alvaro who helps him hide Marco's body in like their van or something like that, because the police are looking for him, and he's a suspect in like taking like a prisoner, whoever it is, kidnapping or something like that. And then these car scenes where he hits cars. And these cars are coming. Police cars are crashing everywhere, and then Julia comes in. Which Julia, I wouldn't say they work together. I just be like, their plans are very much different, and their jobs are very much different than what they had to do, and the mission was very much different. All practically the same. And then she sort of tries to catch up to him conveniently. What these movies are like. Conveniently, the person seems to catch up to the person in front. I thought Lino's way ahead. And then an officer called Jan comes and starts helping out a bit. He gets shot eventually. I'll go into that part in a minute. And then it eventually comes to a halt when all the crashes stop and stuff like that. There was also a scene where he has those little front parts of the car, and he starts like tearing apart like three cars, enemy vehicles that are trying to get Marco and want it for some sort of reason. And then like Alvaro's van gets destroyed or crushed or whatever it is, and there's a bit of, it's basically they got shot. Alvaro got shot. Alvaro and his like friends got shot basically when they came to like a not checkpoint but enemies as well. They came up too, and there's like they got shot, and Lino and whoever else comes in and takes them out and stuff. So I think that's how the scene went, because there's so much that goes in this movie. It's so hard for me to apprehend what scene was what happened in that scene, but I did my best here. I also didn't know that Quentin was Lino's brother. I thought they were friends, because if you don't remember, you know, the first one, if you haven't seen the first one already, probably best to watch that and then watch this one. It makes sense. Quentin actually got shot towards the end when Quentin helped Lino out find out the car with the bullet in it that you know, that proved his innocence. I guess that was more. I guess the first one was more boring because he had to find something, but then the second one he went after the enemies this time, so it made more sense for this one to be a bit more of a frantic one than the first. So that's why I think this is way better than the first one. And yeah, and they come to a stop for some reason. It's like they feel like that wasn't it, and then some enemy cars come. I don't know what they are. What these people are. I think these are terrorists. What are they? And then there's some shooting. I think, and then Yang gets shot, which I mentioned. They get shot, and obviously, like I think they also got destroyed too. Because you know, they got shot. Then Lino comes in as well. Lino tries to, because he gets put in the police car by Julie, and he tries to get out and just to help. Well, he tried to anyway. I think he stayed in that car, and then Marco gets in the car that he's in and starts driving off. Bear in mind too, there was also a crazy scene where Alvaro comes in and then starts shooting like two dudes with a shotgun at the same time. The enemy dudes. That was mad. I can't remember what order the scenes were in, but I did my best to describe the action parts of it. So bear with me on that one. You can correct me anyway if you've seen the movie, you can correct me. And then yeah, and then they sort of crash into like, I think some sort of like the tree or something, like Marco and, you know, Lino sort of crash somewhere, and then Lino drags you know, Marco to like called Chacoy or something. It's a restaurant or something like that. And by the way, his mentor Chawas, that's how you pronounce his name, is Shawaz. I do apologize, because I saw the CH, I'm thinking it's Chawas. I'm so sorry for that. I butchered that name, but yeah, these videos are kind of learning curves for me too. Drags him in, and he sort of goes at the counter and he sees some water and he drinks out of it because he's so dehydrated and thirsty. And Marco just comes in and sort of stabs him a few times. Obviously there is another Lost Bullet movie left, so there's one more left, so he obviously doesn't die. But it's, you know, it sort of views, I think before the Last Bullet movie came out, this movie is, oh my god, is he not gonna die? But he doesn't. You know, it wouldn't make any sense if he did anyway, because he's like the main character of it all. So he's down, he's all stabbed, and Julia comes in with like the shotgun, but then Mark holds like someone hostage. I think, is it Stellan? Or I think so, is it? I can't remember anyway. And then he sort of has to put the gun down, and then Lina sort of runs after, you know, Marco just sort of runs at him, and the fight scene is cool in this one. I like the fight scene, a bit more quicker, a bit more intense. I was feeling it in this one, fighting it, and then she grabs a shotgun, shoots him. I'm surprised he lived through that. How can someone just be away if someone shoots a hole through you? Sure, you would be instantly dead. That's like a lot of you gone. So I don't know how. But then she had to call him because she would get in trouble. And this is why I don't agree with it, because Moss wants to protect him. This is where sometimes the police can be corrupt, because they always protect these bad guys because like, they can give them information to them. But in other words, just put him in prison because he's committed a crime. What protecting him for? I mean, I don't think he's going to say anything ever. And so that's where the corruption is, to be fair. And I wouldn't be surprised if Moss is in on it. I wouldn't be surprised if she's protecting him for a reason. She must have got threatened somehow, and that's why she's protecting him. I guess we'll find out more in The Last Bullet movie, which I'll be watching next Monday. I ain't going to wait till next Wednesday to watch that, so I can't wait for that one. But for now, I'm talking about this one. And yeah, and after that, you know, Julia says that she quits, which is the right thing to do. I agree with her. She should have quit. She should have quit before this happened, because she wouldn't get a bleeder. No one would listen to her. Most want to pin it on and Lino. Something going on there, I'm telling you. She was dodgy from the first one. She's dodgy now, so I don't know what's happening there. Lino only shot Marco to protect her, but he got his revenge. I thought, you know, oh, Julia, you know, killed him, but it would have been it is quite fitting that Lino did it because of that revenge and avenge, you know. Yeah, so he went to avenge his brother and mentor's killer, which is, you know what, good on him. Shoot him as well, like, best thing to do in that scenario. So yeah, and I think that's what the movie that I mentioned. I didn't want to go through the boring bits. The end part is just in a garage I don't know what, somebody was asking for like a bike or some car or something. I don't know what's going on there. Don't know what was the point of that. Don't know how that was significant. Maybe it might be in the last movie. And yet the start part is just leaning on hospitals. I didn't want to get through that boring part. I only get through the nitty gritty bits and the important bits because this movie is brilliant. Would I suggest it? I would, but then I would have to suggest the first one because it makes sense. So if the first one was good as this one, I would have recommended it. But I won't recommend of it. I wouldn't recommend putting this one on TikTok because I would have to put on. I would have to do the first one. I don't know if the Last Bullet one, is going to be just as good as this one. So, I would recommend watching the movie, but I won't put it on TikTok because I have to recommend the first one, possibly the last one, because the last one might not be as good. So I don't know. So that's why I'm just going to think about saying I would recommend this movie, but watch the first one. It will make sense to a lot of you if you watch it. So yeah, I'm actually quite surprised with a movie like this. I explained it well. If I missed anything out, I apologize because I do have a habit of remembering so much that I'll probably forget one or two important parts of the movie. So yeah, look, I did my best explaining that. I think I explained the whole movie just like that in just under 12 minutes. So that's brilliant for me anyway, that I managed to do. It usually takes me 15 minutes to describe a whole movie, or 16, 17 minutes. But some of this movie, it was easy to explain. I can't get used to explaining movies a bit more quicker, and I summarised it a bit better. So it's because there's so much happening, I just got a bit excited about explaining this. So yeah, rating. Now, this is definitely just above decent. I'm not going to give it a 10 because I feel like there's a few things that can be tweaked. I would say a 9, but I don't think it's close to being that bad. I think it's just a good movie. I'm going to have a guess, well not guess, I'm going to say an 8 out of 10. I could guess that's what it should be, but I'm going to say 8 out of 10. I think it deserves that. I don't think it's an average movie. Whoever thinks this movie is average, you probably watch a different movie because this is better than the first. That's the only number I had in my head throughout the movie was 8. When I saw that first scene, I was like, if there's more of that, yes please. So yeah, it's then definitely the whole storyline, it made it better because he's coming after people, so there's going to be more fighting. Whereas the first one, he's proving his innocence, so there's going to be probably less fun for him to investigate, that missing caught the bullet in. And as well, like, part of the dialogue too, which I like, but then I didn't like how the characters portrayed the dialogue. It just felt like the acting was kind of nervous. That's one of the improvements I'm giving. And I also felt how the characters portrayed the dialogue was not the standards. So I do feel like stuff could have been tweaked in the movie. That's why it's not a near perfect movie, because the acting just felt like they were nervous and scared to act and be in this movie. But the movie was good. It really was. So hats off to whoever made it. It's just such a shame that the acting I wasn't feeling, and the way the characters were portrayed, the dialogue and lines, I wasn't really connecting with that. The rest of the movie I connected with it well. Connected well with it was like a bit of an adrenaline rush for me. I was hooked on it. So yeah, it's a good movie overall. I would highly recommend it. Obviously watch the first one. But yeah, that's it for this video. 8 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So see you in my next video.